Top one ladies. My name is Hez. Hold on. There we go. So, yeah. Sorry about this was recorded earlier, but there was one interruption, and that was being very rude. So, I'm redoing this again. So, welcome to the What If Deku was a quirk.
Quirks.
Quirks. Name. Yeah. So, quirks. So, what if Deku was a quirk? Because I go on the internet or on this platform and I see a bunch of when I try to type up what if Deku was a quirk, then there's a bunch of what if Deku had and the dark light quirk, or what if Deku was a Leviathan, or what if many of those fit the description of it. So yeah. Sorry, let me move that out of the way. So yeah. So and reason why I'm using this picture is because yeah. So the Zuko was basically, he was a quirk. He wasn't a normal quirk to begin with. He's a quirk person. So yeah, not quirk person. He is a quirk, but his powers, I'll get it into explaining it. So, because in my one that was supposed to be recorded before, was I had example of so I'll use Toga once again. If she wasn't born a quirk user, basically a user that uses quirks, right? And yeah. Okay. So, yeah. So basically, yeah. The quirk user, like Toga, is yeah. Or imagine if her was a actual
Quirks.
she was a actual quirk. Sorry. Right? She was a quirk, not a quirk user. Like basically she can use quirks. Or she was born with a quirk, but not a quirk. So basically, so she ends up if she was born as a quirk, she has to find a host. Basically like a symbiote. Like Venom or Carnage or like any other symbiote. Has to find a host before they die at age of 4. Or else they will die instantly. So, yeah. So, that was the recorded part before. So, yeah. And the reason why I'm using Toga is because she's actually going to be a hero's part. She's in Class 1B, and she didn't become a villain. She became a hero instead. So, yeah, or a student at UA. So, yeah. So, now, let's begin. Zuko and Zumi were born. Oh, my hand's all jittery, so it's because of coffee that I had. No. Hold on. So, yeah. So Zumi ends up, and Zumi, yeah. So Zumi and Zuko were born, and their parents didn't realize that both Zumi and Zuko were born, or no, not that. I meant Zuko was born as a quirk. So, yeah. So then, and plus, Zuko has the powers, basically abilities. I'll label 3, but I'll add more to it. So he has Infinity, Zero, and Super Strength. So yeah, because he's a quirk, and yeah. So Zuko, an age of 4, Zumi and Zuko were basically hanging out at age of 3. And yeah. So yeah, Bakugo went over and asked Zumi out on a date. Like, yeah, if they get older, they'll date each other's. And then Zuko ends up like, yeah. And Zuko, plus, you can be a good hero, too. And Zuko Hoon's one of his specialties. He doesn't mean it intentionally, but yeah. One of his specials is kindness. Basically, I mean by kindness is basically he shows it, and everybody's like, man, you're so kind, Zuko. So yeah, Zuko ends up being, Zuko. And yeah. So yeah. So now let's move on. So at age of 4, Zuko and Zumi went to the quirk doctor, and the quirk doctor tells Zumi that she has a quirk, and as he looks over at Zuko, you do not have a quirk. Or should I say, you don't have a quirk. So basically, Zuko was all sad, and his sister's happy for herself, but also felt bad for her brother. So then at age of 5, time skip to 5, the quirk doctor walks up to Zuko because, one, he got kicked out of Zuko got kicked out of a house because he's quirkless and he doesn't need to be there to, yeah. So then Zuko was sitting at a park bench, like a seat part. And yeah. So then the quirk doctor, I'm trying to think. So the quirk doctor, I always call him that because I always walks up to him and sits right next to him. As the quirk doctor says, "Fancy meeting you here, Zuko Midoriya." As he tells him the truth, Zuko, I know that, as he says, I know there's one thing I didn't know, that your parents didn't catch on. What? You are a quirk. You don't need a quirk. You are a quirk. You were born as a quirk, not with a quirk. So, but surprising, there's no power, or no, like, you're, hold on. Okay. So, the quirk doctor is trying to say is that Zuko Zuko, oh, you're the only one that I do know that has or was born with, or no, not with, as a quirk. And you lived this long. But how? I sometimes wonder that myself, sometimes. But, yeah. Zuko, whom tells the quirk doctor that he really doesn't know. Oh, no. Come to my office. Okay, so then the next day, Zuko came to his office and they did the DNA test. And he read it. Or he shows Zuko that I think I know what and I found out you have a powers of infinity, zero, and super strength. So as he opens the door gently, not like rips the door hinge off, as he says, yeah, when Yeah, that's you're unique, different from the people that were born as a quirks. So then, yeah. So then, be safe. Yeah. Keep it on the low profile, okay? Till the time comes to reveal. So then, he says, I will. My, as he says, bye. So then he goes out. Ezuku's, who went into the forest before, as he's training his heart out. Basically, what I mean by that is basically the he is using every power or at his disposal, and those notes that he took, like he wrote down every quirk, every move, and he replicated them. Going from Bakugo's explosions to who Zumi's controlled flames, through like from class or from pro heroes like Symbol of Peace to the basically all the pro heroes. And he learns how to combine both of them. But after he comes back home, or no, he goes back to town, but he was walking past a cemetery as a bunch of like quirks that was from the dead bodies came up, and Zuko looks over and he's not haunted by that. What haunts him more is basically if zombies came out of the graves, but it was just little ghosts that just of souls of like quirks, and they're like, as every quirk fused into his body, going from All Might's Master, his quirk, to the, like, when I say all of the quirks, I mean all of them. Like, stuff like stuff from telekinesis, frozen, and creation. Like, someone actually had Momo's quirk before. And every quirk Ernks flowed right into Zuko, whom, instead of getting forced, like how All for One forces quirks into himself. But Zuko, who is kind-hearted, so, and one of the so one of the quirks was a thing, coda, coda, I can't spell his name, so it's... No, not that guy. Hold on. Just give me 1 minute. No. So, this one. H-O-T. Oh, okay. H-O-T-A. From even their... From Koda's parents that died before. So when... Yeah, that was... that was after Koda was born. So, yeah. So then Koda's his parents, or water horse thing, ends up looking right at Zuko, or actually their quirks. It's kind of like their soul went into Zuko's body. As Zuko can and hear them him clear as day. But Zuko was so, as he tells them he wanted revenge on the ones that killed you, right? Yeah, so-called muscular. So, yeah, so then everyone shows pain, or like, so then he goes where Muscular was at, and Muscular was at being like by himself. He was drunk. But Zuko just comes out of nowhere as he says, "Huh, you must be Muscular." "Yeah, what, kid? You're not strong, or you're not a pro hero." "Huh. But you, whom..." As he beats around Muscular like a... Yeah, like a little punching bag. Yeah, Zuko, it was a toughest one. And as Zuko used the water thing of the water horse's powers, shoots a laser, or no, shoots a beam water thing. I'm trying to think of how I bit my tongue when I... Oh! Sorry, I bit my tongue. So yeah, Zuko was pretty strong. And he just knocks Muscular out and kills him. And Zuko, or so the Grim Reaper, he saw a Grim Reaper here, took Muscular's soul away. You can rest easy now. So then Zuko goes home, and he walks away, and he's ready to punch something. So like, so the basically, yeah. Zuko was a powerhouse. I'll just say that. Yeah. So Zuko goes around. There was a let's say a time skip to 15. And Zuko was basically going to quirkless school. Some of the quirkless kids, their parents were pro heroes that got killed. And they became orphans things. But Zuko could still hear the parents of those, or dead parents. And, yeah. Sorry. As he tells the kids, your parents always loved you. You can become a great hero, like a policeman. And the, yeah, and all that stuff. So then Zuko goes, sorry. So, some of them were so much in pain because the parents, because they thought the parents didn't love them. So they were, this is a dark version, or a little bit of a dark been added, called, yeah. Some of them were trying to commit, like, the, what's that word? Suicide. They were trying to commit suicide, but Zuko comes out of nowhere and saves them from, and tells them that because how much pain they were in, Zuko says, as he hugs, like, all of them. And plus, because Zuko has a power of 0, is absorbing all that negativity out of their bodies and putting it inside of him. So he's taking every single one of their pains and putting it inside of his own to make it so he has to deal with every pain. But he doesn't know what pain is. So, because he's a quirk, he's a quirk. He's a, yeah. So, yeah, he still lives. Because normally, like, quirk, like, people that are born as a quirks, they die after 4 years. But Zuko, whom can never die. So he's at 15. Because usually he couldn't find a host. Because normally you have to die instantly at 4. It's pretty dark. Yeah. So then, yeah. But then Zuko lived so long as he's like, man. So, plus, because he wasn't born, or no, he wasn't growing up knowing what love is, hate, or the anything else. Oh, so yeah. But he only knows how to be kind, heart, or because he doesn't know what. So Zuko was so now a time skip to All Might versus All for One. As All Might was down, hung, but not out. All for One is like, I'm surprised about one thing. As All Might says, would that be? A quirk lived super long time. Or a certain quirk. As he turns his head to look at Bakugo. Oh, I'm talking about your friend. I believe his name is Zuko Midoriya. The quirkless. Reason why the quirk doctor told him the truth. That he was born as a quirk. He doesn't need a quirk. He is a quirk. Like a symbiote kind. But normally, under normal circumstance, they only have, if they don't find a host before they turn 4 years old, they die instantly. But Zuko, how old is he? 15. I believe. And he's outlived every quirk that was even on this planet. So he sparks my interest. But you wouldn't survive. As All for One shoots a beam of light at All Might. But Zuko steps in as he kicks it with full power. Kicks it away. Hey. And he says, as they see sparks flying off of Zuko's body. Zuko Midoriya. It's an honor to meet a quirk that outlives anyone. Sorry. Could outlive anyone. And you're the pinnacle of the oldest quirk. But how do you do it, Zuko? How do you live so long without a host? One of my favorite attributes or my abilities that are part of me is infinity and zero that don't allow me to die so easily. Or I'm not. As Zuko uses his powers. So, time for you to die. All for One. As Zuko comes in at full power and punches All for One with enough force of like 50,000 armed trucks yeah, basically gets punched right in the chest cavity, or right punched right as Zuko, or All for One, Hun says, "Huh, you could do better than that, kid. Huh, I was just warming up." Huh. The as Zuko used the Mina's as, I think Mina or Maya, yeah, Mina's is like attack thing, the cannon. I'm trying to remember the attack name. Ling. Oh, sorry. Hold on, just 1 second. Yeah. So you know that one scene where or no, when Mina uses her cannon thing. Oh, here it is. Well, Zuko uses his own version of hers, but it's called Toxic Cannon. And then, yeah, he uses the Toxic Cannon, but instead of doing like what her hands, he lifts his hands a little bit higher, like a Kamehameha version, as, yeah, it melted All for One skin, melting skin, meat, and veins. Only thing that was left was the skeleton part. Azuku, whom used, he says, as the that like that attack name of like basically not rapid fire, the one from Jump Force. I forgot his name. Him. Like basically, you know that attack name where I'm trying to remember what was it. Like it was the spinning impact or something. Like yeah. Yeah, that one. He spins around crazy. And yeah, but Zuko was on a whole nother level of it. As when he exploded, it was like a nuclear bomb just went off. Like kaboom! And the All for One's entire skeleton was wiped from the face of the planet. Yeah, with everything else. But dumb luck, Zuko had, or he used the combined hours of, or to teleport, like, All for One and himself to a different planet. Zombie world. Or like a dead planet, basically. And when Zuko did that, it was so, like, the explosion was so big, it could be heard no matter, it's like a vacuum of space, but the volume of it was so loud that every planet from the entire solar system, or no, from the entire galaxy could hear it. No matter, no. Yeah, it was big and it was loud. And when Zuko comes out, he did have no burn marks, but his shirt was blown off. Yeah. And, yeah, Zuko was like, man, I never thought I had this much power to begin with. I thought I was just a normal quirk. But then Zuko promised himself that he's a strong fella. When he kicks, so the next day, Zuko looks at, or not Zuko, yeah, no, yeah. So Nezu says we need to bring him in ASAP because as Zuko no need to start searching for me. I'm right here. As the freaks Nezu out, like basically, what? As he jumps right out of a chair. Sorry about that. I should have knocked before I came. I walked through the front door and showed up right next to you. Yeah. It's called time pause. I'm the only one that can use it. What it does allows me to basically freeze this time, and I'm not affected by it. So I can walk around on people, do whatever I want to them, and then unfreeze it. So, yeah. So then Nezu says, Zuko, how do you feel about joining UA as Class 1A student? I'll be honored to. So then Zuko says, sure. And then he goes to Class 1A because they didn't need to do exams for him. Or they did, but him. Zuko used every power at his disposal. And when he showed up to Class 1A, the Bakugo and Class 1A, Class 1A, shocked faces, when they're like, they could not believe that the quirk, an actual quirk, is joining Class 1A. As he says, because he transferred from a quirkless school to a quirked school. And the quirkless students, they wanted their own quirks. And that was before he left. He looked at their dead parents and created their own combined quirks to give to their. So yeah. So the quirkless population went down to about 2%. Or no, at 2%. So yeah. So then yeah. So then all the quirkless people that were quirkless, but now they have quirks, looks at Zuko as a hero. Hero. And he doesn't need... Yeah. So when the class 1A, or all of them, want to see what he can do against a class 1A, or themselves, should I say, and Zuko says, or he has to prove that he's worthy to be in this class. So he's like, As he used many, like, tactics of everyone's hands. Plus, he used a special quirk that he designed from using the combined quirks of the... It's called Shadow Teleport. Or no. Portal Shadow. So basically it took the shadows, as he teleports, as Bakugo was like, or let's say Momo kind of went overboard with just using her mirage of cannons. And Zuko just straight up, like, as before cannons even blew up, he fell backwards before, and he landed in his own shadow as he teleports, as they thought he was dead, because how much. But then, when Momo looked, or when they're like looking around for him, and Zuko, but they didn't realize that Zuko teleported behind Momo's. As he looks over, I think you got him. As Momo turns around, she gets freaked out, like, what? Where did you come from? I teleported. And then I created a new quirk called Shadow Movement. It allows me to go into a shadow of my own or anyone else's to whom, like, basically come there. So they're like, you can shadow move? Holy crud. And I also created this one from using a class 1B student's quirk called home the puppet head and vines. So then he uses it and to control a person's movements. As they're like, what? But how is he doing that without how? It's because I used the class 1B student. Yeah. So he proved himself. How long has this video been? Yep. Yeah. So yeah. So Zuko ends up giving, or so he proved that he's worthy of the, he's, and, so then overhaul arc happened, but I'm skipping over it because, or most of it until the monster part. Zuko just, like, when he was giant, he used the combined powers, or he used Momo's creative quirk to create a golf club that was bigger than a building as he swings it. And, like, he hits Overhaul, sending him flying. As he says, "You do not touch my little sister like that." As they said, "Man, he has a golf club? Man, that's..." And so, because he has many abilities. Yeah. So, when he used the... So, yeah. And during all that time, I forgot to mention, during all that time, when from 3 years old to 15, Bakugo and Zumi were dating each other's all the way through. And then so Zuko was pretty powerful. And Zuko, he doesn't... So in my original story that I forgot to mention, in my original story, like in my original script, that All For One Hun was gonna take Zuko, and like put him inside of his own body, basically like putting or forcing, yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. So they, yeah. Sorry, I just had to look before I leaked. So, yeah. So Zuko was basically, and that was the original story, was that All For One was gonna take Zuko, and infused Zuko into his own body, basically like All For One takes Zuko and puts him inside of All For One's body. I mean, and make him part of it. But, okay? So, yeah. So now this is yeah. So, yeah. But Ochako and Momo, or so let's say Ochako, whom already had a crush on Zuko before her, and Momo did, because he doesn't know what flirting means, or like, so when someone or his classmates aren't, like, basically are like, "Dude, you really don't know how you got flirted by two girls." No. I even don't know what that means either. So, having a overpowered quirk, there must have been having the downside of don't even know what. I don't understand the love part, the hate, or any of that stuff. Huh. So yours, huh. So that's why when people born as a quirk have to deal with every day of not remembering anything. Yeah, that's basically what it is in a nutshell. So, man, it scares me. So when Zuko, or when Ochako knows that he doesn't know what the meaning of love is, so, or any of that, he says, huh. Yeah. So then, so, so then Ochako finally decides, or so Momo, or no, one day it was just Ochako and Momo, and both of them agree that, and both of them, or let's say, no, wait, hold on. I already had it planned for the ships part. So basically, Ochako, or no, actually, so Momo was married to, or no, was dating Todoroki. And Ochako was dating Zuko. So when she heard that so yeah, that he doesn't know what love is or flirting thing, I was gonna mix it up, like making Ochako fall in love with Todoroki and Momo with like Zuko, but I was like, no, just leave it as is. I am not doing like those weird ships. Basically, like I'm a straight guy, so basically, I'm I'm saying straight, like boys with girls, girls with boys, not change gender, basically like gay or any of that stuff. So yeah, so invisible girl, or so every yeah. So then, oh, so yeah, so Chaco gets married to Zuko, and she actually, or one night actually, everybody else went to bed, like except for Ochako and Zuko. Ochako walks up to Zuko and tells she tells him, this is what she said. You could always bond with me, as she points to herself with a blushed face, or with flustered face. And Zuko doesn't really know what that means. Means either, so he actually he did choose a person to actually is bonding with, because during when they were, let's say, 6 years old, at that orphanage, Ochako walks up to Zuko, and he did pick Ochako to bond with, because so Zuko tells her, because I know I'm a quirk, and when I actually did choose a person. Who did you choose? Is it one of the other girls? If it's so, well, you will not see me ever again. No, whom? As he says, no, silly, I chose you, whom to bond with, as he tells Ochako that. Because you're the nicest one. And more normal than the rest of them. As Ochako's eyes widen with a, basically she's super shocked. She got hit with a reality thing. As Zuko chose Ochako, so then, time skip to 18, and Zuko can now tell what love is. So they got married and had 2 children. So, I'm just going to use this image. That image right there. And I didn't notice there's Toga in the background. There's my favorite person. Toga is my favorite person. No matter how many times people have to say, oh, she's dead, or she got killed. Because if Toga was, or if I was in that universe of My Hero Academia, I would have been looked right at Toga, and first to meet her, then, because Toga is my favorite person of My Hero Academia. She's still my favorite. And until this day. So then Zuko ends up having so I can't spell. So basically, So Zuko was. I'm laughing my head off. First of all, sorry. So Zuko and Ochako. Zuko and Ochako had basically. I'm trying to find. Okay, had 3 kids. 1 girl and 2 boys. But Zuko could tell that both, or out of all 3, 2 of them actually are born as quirks, just like how he was. We better find you both to, like, better to bond with your sister to, like, as they're like, as Ochako remembers that when Zuko also passed, or no, not passed away, actually gave a copy of his powers to his kids. So both of his kids have a same quirks, or no, same powers as their father and their mother. So basically, and so all three of them can survive without, or both of them can survive without a bonding with a person. So all of them agree that they don't need to use any. Yeah. So now I believe that this chapter of the story will be the end of our bravest, strongest quirk named Zuko Midoriya has now going to be in the history books. So peace out, and thank you for watching this movie or full movie of What If Deku Was a Quirk. And the reason why I made this video is because the one I've seen a lot of like people do like what if Deku had or was a Leviathan, or what if Deku had powers of infinity or zero, or what if Deku catch the eye of the vampires, that stuff. But yeah, but this one is straightforward. Basically, what if Deku was a quirk? So, thank you for enjoying this program. I hope that you like, share, subscribe, comment, everything else, and catch you guys in the next video. Peace out, y'all.